Alrighty, everybody, welcome in. This is the beginning of hopefully a long and glorious journey. Welcome into the first episode of the Sports Analyst Commenters podcast. We're just going to call it Sports Analyst Commenters, though. I'm Jared Call, your host. This is my glorious co-host, Jessa. How are we doing today?
So good, so good. And also, I gotta say that I really like keeping it as the Sports Analysts podcast too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's been the group chat name forever, right? So,
it's been so long. I don't even know where the beginning of the Sports Analyst group chat. That's another topic for another day, I
yeah,
think.
true.
Basically, this is what we got on the docket for everybody today. Okay, we got a little intro. We're gonna explain what the show is, what you can expect from the show, as much as we know, because we don't really know what we're doing here.
True.
Topic one, we're gonna talk Jake Retzlaff, BOU quarterback room. We got big news out of there. Topic two, we're going into Jess's power ratings. We heard a little bit about it. We saw some spreadsheets and some screenshots. We'll get into that. Very brief college football overview, and then we'll wrap up with a little bit of a game, and we'll give you a preview of what's next. But first up, Jessa, before we do anything, the post of the day in Sports Analysts is Rhett Lashley's comments about the SEC only having six schools win the championship in the last, let's see here, 62 years,
Yeah,
61
64.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah. How,
1964.
yeah, give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts.
Well, I feel like we'll get to this eventually, but he doesn't throw as much shade to the Big 12 in his comments, but he does say he's like, and this, I mean, it doesn't make the Big 12 look great, but he does point out that the Big 12 is the only conference to not have a national champion in the last, what, 30 years or something like that.
True?
So I mean, which is valid, right? The new Big 12, right? We don't have
Yeah,
Texas
right.
and
We're talking
Oklahoma
new Big
anymore.
12.
Yeah,
Take
new Big
Texas and
12,
Oklahoma
right?
out. Yeah. Yeah.
But I am willing to look past that because of how valid his SEC comments were. The fact that, yeah, it's four teams that really carry that conference, and then all the other middle feeders, right,
Right?
kind of feed off of that hype and brand. So Rhett Lashley gets a big thumbs up from me for spitting facts, even though some of them are hard to hear sometimes.
Yeah. I agree. I think I'm not gonna look up what the Big Ten's record is because I'm sure Ohio State and Michigan probably account for most of the conference championships. Um,
True.
right? Probably. We don't do our research here. We just spit facts and fire. But I think it does help that we beat Rhett Lashley last year. So anything we say is kind of like, all right, good job, little buddy. Like pat on the head. Like we beat you by only kicking field goals, so you can't really say much.
Ah, very true. Very true. And to the Big Ten's credit, too, I think part of it is who's the Big Ten commissioner? I forget his name.
Tony Petiti.
Okay, Tony Petitti, he is up there like fighting for his conference, but unlike the SEC, he's not like he's not delusionally saying we are the greatest. We deserve six teams in the playoffs. Our seventh team is better than any. Like he's not out here saying Michigan State is going to beat the best team in the ACC in the Big 12. Like that's
Right.
the level of delusion that the SEC kind of propagates. And so the combination of that versus being so top heavy, I think is where the Big 10 and the SEC are maybe a little bit different, but I don't know.
No, I mean, it's a very apt point that you point out, and obviously no bias here, but the SEC is pushing out this propaganda with literally these 7-page packets about how they're the greatest conference, and the Big Ten isn't saying anything. We're like, we don't need to, if you have to say that what's the word in politics? It's like, if you have to say that you're not a donkey kisser, then you are a donkey kisser, right?
Yeah,
Like, if you have
right.
to say that you are something, that means you're not.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then I'm looking at the list of Big Ten champions of the last 25 years. Northwestern, Purdue, Illinois, Iowa, Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State, and Michigan State. So that's 8 teams,
Eight
if I'm doing my
teams.
math correctly, in
Oh,
the
that's
last
much
25
deeper.
years, right?
Yeah, right. And they didn't always have the number of teams that they have now. So,
Exactly. It used to be 10.
yeah, that's exactly,
Shocker.
that's exactly right. Did you say you listed off eight teams right there?
Yeah, if I did my math right.
That's crazy. See? Yeah. Lots more parity in that league. Maybe not in the last few years, but I also think it's good for conferences to have power teams that are like the dogs to beat. With the new
Mhm.
Big 12, I think we're still kind of waiting to see who that's going to be. But I think it does strengthen your conference when you have like the power teams who, if you beat, it strengthens your resume, right?
No, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. I mean, if you look at the ACC, everybody thinks the ACC is a power league. The ACC has Clemson,
yeah,
right? We don't look at Wake Forest and Boston College and all these other teams, Syracuse, right? Like none of these teams are world beaters. None of them are actually that good. Like you'd probably take Big 10 or Big 12 schools to beat any of those schools, but it's because they have Clemson as that national championship contender that everybody thinks of them so highly. And so
yeah.
I think you're totally right. That's what the Big 12 needs. Now, will we get that? I don't know. I have a hot take that I was actually saving for later, but I'm just gonna let it rip right
Rip
now,
it.
okay? I'm sick and tired of all of the freaking national media members talking about the Big 12 and how, oh, it's just a mashup. Like, we don't know who's going to be good. It's all just a mosh pit. I think that it's not actually as I mean, I'm sure it's pretty close. It's probably closer than all these other leagues with these huge national championship contenders. But I think there is a distinct hierarchy in the league that all the national media members don't really dig deep enough to see. They just love this narrative that the Big 12 is really fun because it's a coin flip and there's all these one score games. I think we might start to see this year that there is going to be a hierarchy in the teams that are committed to winning and the teams that are struggling to keep up. That's my hot take is that it's not actually as crazy as everybody says it is. They just don't do their research to figure out who's actually good in the league.
Yeah, right. And I'm assuming that we'll get to who you think will rise to the cream will rise to the top when we go through later in the podcast. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. I would
Uh,
agree.
let's actually do our actual intro that we just postponed a good 10 minutes there.
Oh,
This
nice.
show
Cool.
this show is basically just going to be an audio version of Sports Analysts. As you just heard, that was just our little pilot, little conversation back and forth. Um, the barbecue 4th of July, that conversation that we had, that's basically what this podcast is. What can you expect from the show? Very serious. There's no jokes, no irony, no sarcasm,
And no
nothing.
bias, right? Like
No
you said,
bias.
no
Com-
bias. This is, yeah.
completely straight down the middle.
Hmm.
Yep. When can you expect the show to come out? Probably once a week. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
feel
if I have a
comfortable
better
committing to
answer
that.
than that. Yeah.
Probably.
And then what is this going to look like? So basically, me and Jess are going to have a little conversation every week. We're going to go over some games, some hot topics, maybe do some top 25 antics, stuff like that. We're going to recap every BYU game, of course, but we also are going to be your voice. Obviously, we're speaking to the Sports Analyst chat because we're probably only speaking to you. I don't know if anybody else is listening, maybe the wives of all the uncles. But that's about it. And let's be honest, is Steve going to listen to this? I don't know.
I
Steve,
don't
if you're
know.
listening, you send a text.
Yeah, your
But
workout
basically,
playlist.
yeah, come on.
Add us to it, Steve. Early mornings. Let's go.
Right? You don't play college football anymore, so you got time,
You
okay?
got to get your fix somewhere. Come on.
But yeah, so we're gonna have somebody from Sports Analysts on as much as we can. It'll be fun to hear everybody's opinions, hot takes. Yeah. Justin, do you have anything to add onto that?
That pretty much sums it up. It's going to be a good time no matter what. And you know what? One thing I will add is especially in the off season, you realize, I don't know if you're like this. I know you are, but I don't know what it's like to be an addict, right? To like substances and whatnot, but I
Thankfully.
know what it's like to have your brain chemistry altered by having college football or not having college football. So my hope is that both during the season and now, as we're gearing up and the withdrawals get worse and worse and worse, that this is the fix,
Yep.
once
This
a week.
this
So,
isn't this isn't gonna this it's not gonna be the same high, but it will get you to the next high to the next high until we hit the hard stuff on October or August 23rd with Iowa State and Kansas State kicking off Farmageddon in Dublin, Ireland.
yeah, yeah, agreed.
Um, so let's just jump right into the biggest news. Jake Retzlaff to Tulane. Immediate thoughts. Justin, what was your gut reaction?
So here's the deal. I unabashedly and without shame pay money to this subscriber group that will give me information about 48 hours in advance of when the national news knows. So, um, yeah. There were whisperings that he was going to Tulane. And honestly, it made more sense to me than a Power Four program just because of the timing. I wasn't
100%.
sure because I mean, look at the scenario. This is his last year of eligibility no matter what, right? He's basically graduated. He's a senior. Um, and so he needed to go somewhere where like he played, right?
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, so Tulane, I think this is like the best case scenario for him if he starts, like
Yeah,
G5, but still low-key a playoff contender, you know?
100%.
So I also hear they're throwing him a bag too, like an NIL.
Okay. Good for him.
So
Good for him.
I know, good for him. So those are
Good
my
for him.
thoughts. What do you th what was your gut reaction?
My gut reaction was both happy and sad because I'm happy for Jake because that's a great situation for him to go into. Like their QB room is decimated after the portal, and apparently they had one guy that was supposed to be a starter and then he got arrested, so he's out. Um, yeah, not going to get into the whole honor code thing yet, but this guy was actually arrested for doing something actually illegal,
Yeah,
and he's
he
out.
stole a car
So
or something, right?
yeah, it's crazy. It's a
I don't
whole
know.
thing.
Okay.
Um, but basically, Jake is probably the starter. Like I was looking at college football 26, which is obviously the end all be all for college
Mm-hmm.
football.
Mm-hmm.
There are other guys, Caden Samanza from the MAC. I don't know which MAC school, but from the MAC. And he is an 80 overall, whereas Jake is an 88. So it's basically Jake's job.
Yeah.
So good for him. He's probably going to make the playoffs. But then that made me sad because he probably has a better chance to make the playoff than we do this year,
Very
leaving us with
true.
this quarterback room, right?
Very
So I
true.
don't know. I'm conflicted. I'll be rooting for him. Obviously, Tulane, everyone loves because of the jerseys, of course. And they play Ole Miss, so obviously a good hate watch there for the SEC,
Yeah. I'm all
right?
over that.
But yeah, I'm thinking Jake will probably start, and like let's be honest, he's probably going to make the playoffs if they can go 11-1.
And
I don't
if
know.
Boise
That's a good
State takes a
situation.
little bit of a dip, I think that's the deciding factor maybe for him. And then the other team, without going too deep into the G5, the other team that has a cakewalk of a schedule always is Liberty.
Of
So
course, of
we'll
course.
see. It depends on Hi Moose. It depends
Yep, was
on
making
how
a
they do. But
cameo.
yeah, I would agree with his chances being good, just as good, if not better, than BYU making the playoffs. So
Right, kind of sad.
yeah, I know.
Here's here's Tulane's schedule this year. All right, they got Northwestern. Okay, woof, that's a dub, probably. They
Yeah.
play them at home too. Then they go to South Alabama, who they're usually feisty, but they weren't that good last year. Then they
They
get Duke.
lost Gio Lopez too. Gio Lopez
South
was like
Alabama
their
did.
whole team. Yeah. He went to
Yes.
UNC.
So
So,
so that's probably a dub as well,
yeah.
right? Then you got Duke at home. Duke was actually pretty good last year. People forget. Duke won like 9 games last year. So that's going to be a feisty game. That win, although it's not going to get like the respect of the committee per se, that's going to be a bowl eligible P5 team that Tulane can have on their resume that a lot of other G5 teams won't. And then they go to Ole Miss. That's a super tough game. They're at Ole Miss. But if you play competitive in that one and you win the rest of your games, I mean, you got Tulsa, Army, East Carolina, UTSA, Memphis, FAU, Temple, and Charlotte. Yes, you go to Memphis, to UTSA. But I mean, with that schedule, an 11-1 Tulane is that they're making the playoff, right?
Yeah. Do you think they have to go undefeated in conference play? Like, do you think they're one loss? Because that's a grueling for a G5 team, that's a grueling non-conference. Like,
Right.
um, yeah. So do you think if let's say they go undefeated in non-conference, but they drop a conference game, do you still think they're good? Do you think it matters where they lose, where that loss comes?
I think it will have to be like to Memphis or UTSA, assuming that all the
Okay.
projections are correct, because I think the committee is very stupid, let's be honest. Um, they they're gonna look at East Carolina, FAU, Temple. Like if you lose any of those games, committee's just gonna throw you out, right? But I think if UTSA and Memphis are both like 9 and 10 win teams, and you lose on the road at one of those and then go win the championship over one of them or the other, then I think that loss can be excused, especially if you beat Ole Miss, right? If you beat
I
Ole
was
Miss,
just gonna say, you
that
beat
buys
Ole
you a win.
Miss, and that's, I mean, yeah, it's like Boise State losing to Oregon bolstered their resume, right?
100%.
So, yeah, I mean, Tulane, even if they lose a close one, right? Then yeah, that's an interesting game to watch. So we'll have to see. I hope Jake balls out, honestly. I hope he
Me too.
does.
Me
So,
too. I think his biggest, going back to what you were saying about Boise State, I think Boise State is their biggest competition for the G5. Them and Liberty. Liberty will probably have to be undefeated
yeah, I
given their
agree because
Conference USA schedule.
they lost their QB to Colorado. So,
Yep.
we'll have to
Katie
see. I just
Salter.
think Liberty is in the weakest, like they're in a weak conference, right?
Mhm.
For the level that they play at. So, I don't know. Have to see.
But Boise State goes to Notre Dame.
I was
And
just
I
gonna
think
ask.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame is probably going to win that game because Boise State, I think they were really good last year, but I think it was 90% Ashton Jenny. Without him, like you're not going to beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame unless you're like NIU or something, right? Boise
Yeah.
State's way like Notre Dame's going to take you seriously if you're Boise
Yes.
State.
Yes.
So I think if Boise State's 11-1, Tulane is 11-1, I think in my opinion, I would take Tulane because Memphis and UTSA are probably going to be better than anything that Boise State's going to play in the Mountain West.
Yeah, true.
Obviously, we'll have to see how that plays out, but
True.
hoping and praying that Jake meets us in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Tulane coming to Lavelle Edwards. That'd be sick.
That would be so sick. That'd be so sick. It's interesting. I was with the expanded playoff. I think one of my favorite things about the expanded playoff, now that we're talking about G5 or G6 or whatever, is that these teams are not, it's not, they're actually vying for an actual playoff spot. Like there is a
Mm,
playoff spot held for them, you know,
right.
whereas in the past. So it's gonna be a fun race to see, and I'm rooting for Tulane. We'll see.
Yeah, 100%. You're 100% right. As far as BYU's QB room goes, I mean, we've heard everything that there is to hear about this. I just want to quickly get who's your starter and why. Just
I've been going back and forth the last 2 months. And right now, if I had to put, if I you forced me to put money on somebody, it would be McKay Hillstead.
okay.
Yeah. Um,
And why? What's the rationale there?
honestly, part of it is vibes, if we're gonna be real.
Okay.
But also, um, I think that, man, now that I'm saying it, I'm like, it could be Trayson. I don't know. Because I think McKay, the thing with McKay is going to be the risk of injury with him. Like that's the biggest
Yeah,
thing.
short and
I'm
small and
Yeah, and I am concerned about his height, a little bit. I think it's been blown out of proportion just a little bit.
yeah,
'Cause it's like funny because he looks so small. Um, the dude can sling it and he can run.
yeah.
And if history tells us anything, those two attributes, if the offensive line is good enough around him, I think he could be successful. I think Trayson, I honestly think Bear will be QB too. I
Really, really
Yeah, I think we're looking at a little
interesting.
bit of a, and I could be totally wrong with this, but a little bit of a Mangum and Zach
Zach,
deal,
yeah,
you know?
where you kind of
Um,
want to get the new guy. You want to get him lots of reps, even though he's not starting,
yeah,
because he could be the future, especially with what's his name, Ryder Lyons. Like, gonna take a while to get here.
yep,
I see it. I see it.
yep. And I think A-Rod needs QB legs to bail him out of
Mm,
situations. So I
yep.
don't know. That's my take. What are you feeling? What are your vibes?
I mean, my vibes honestly come from the sports analyst chat because I'm not on Twitter anymore. I'm not on this. I don't see like the chitter chatter, and I'm not like in Utah anymore, so I don't hear through the grapevine stuff like I used to. So honestly, I'll say this: I've heard the most about McKay Hillstead. Whether it be good or bad, people are talking about him
True,
the most, which I think
true.
says a lot, right? Because that means that he's in front of people, he's in front of the fans, in front of the coaches. So I I might be with you. I think maybe McKay walks out there on game one. I mean, I know for one, I'm going to be just locked in on those YouTube live stream press conferences with
Yeah.
A-Rod and Fessy and all the boys on whenever fall camp starts because I'm super interested to see how this plays out. It's almost kind of like exciting. It's like with Jake, like we kind of knew what we were going to get. We are going to get like some really stupid plays, but he was going to be clutch sometimes and it was going to be kind of a low stats but high vibes kind of guy.
Yeah, yeah,
With,
very
with
true.
with this, we have no idea. We have no idea, and that's actually kind of exciting to me.
Yeah, it is. And I would be a little bit more scared about it if our surrounding roster, I didn't have so much confidence in our surrounding
Yeah,
roster. Like when in doubt, just give it to number two. Just huck it up to where Chase is, and he'll make a play. Um, so yeah, I would agree that it's going to be exciting, and that first game against Portland State is going to be a heck of a lot of fun. So
yeah, it
hopefully, you
is.
never know. Could be like 2017 Portland State.
Yeah, we're very much not hoping that. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. It's
Yeah.
not that.
Hey, we said we weren't going to be biased, all right?
Right. No, no, no.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
we have to
we
report
could,
it.
Portland State could come in and get the upset of the century against the
Yeah,
Cougs.
they have
Who
like
knows?
a student body of like 3,500 kids. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
probably some decent athletes in there.
probably.
Um, speaking of athletes and teams and projections, Jess, I want to get into your power ratings here. So
Okay.
you have developed I, I'm just going to let you take it. You explain to me exactly where this started, what goes into the power ratings, and what they are supposed to do. Are they predictive? Are they measuring past success? I want to hear it. I want to hear it all.
Yeah, that's a good question. So the story of this was, I think it was like what, end of May, beginning of June, everybody starts, maybe it was June, starts developing their own rankings and predictions for the season. And I just got fed up with the conference bias. Being like, yeah, USC is always in the top 25. I saw a stat. They've been in the top 25 like 8 of the last 10 years and have only finished ranked like 4 times.
Oh my
And
gosh.
like, why do you keep ranking them up there? Like, what's the
Right?
deal? They look at the logo, right? So it was really logo bias. And
I
so
get
I
that.
started looking and I was like, if you took the logo away and just looked at the numbers, what might it look like? And I wanted control over, okay, if I weighted this a little bit more, then who comes out on top? If I weighted this a
Yeah.
little bit less, who comes out on top? Because I can't see their algorithms, right? Like Josh Pate has an algorithm or a
Yep.
formula, and I can't see them. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go in and see what I can come up with and what bias I can present.
Yep.
And so I just went and got a bunch of data. Like
Okay.
literally, I think I have almost every piece of data from the 2024 season, and then also
Holy cow.
like rosters and depth chart data, everything we have available in this spreadsheet. And I've been messing around with it.
That's a big spreadsheet.
It's huge. I think I might break Google Sheets, but it's fun.
So,
Anybody can do it if you're crazy enough.
I mean, we definitely hit that level of crazy, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's definitely true.
Very true.
Um, so, real quick here, what goes into your power? What is the most heavily rated thing in your power rating?
Okay, so the most heavily rated thing is the production on the field.
Okay. So, what does that
So,
mean? What does that look like?
yeah.
Is that
So
yards?
it's yards, scoring, and really like anything that shows up in a stat sheet.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. Um, and so with this, you ask, is it predictive or is it to rank previous success, whatever? I would in the spectrum of things, between previous success and predictive, I would put it just a little bit more toward the predictive side,
Okay.
just because it's not fully predictive because there's so much unknowns. So it's
Right.
weighted really heavily on previous production and then coaching staff performance and continuity
I love
is
that.
are the two things that because that's what matters, I think,
Uh-huh.
to me. It's like what do you do on the field and then does your coaching staff win? Like do they produce? Right.
Yep.
So, and then of course I've got some other things in here too. Like we've talked about, like offensive identity. Are they good at passing? And if so, are they good at passing? Do they do it a lot? Are
Yeah,
they good at
yeah,
rushing? And do they do that a lot? Or are they good at
yeah.
rushing and they don't do it very much, right? So that was a really interesting stat to get in here. So that's weighted a little bit too. I feel like we've got a pretty comprehensive view. And really to sum it up, what these power rankings do, I think they just set expectations for what the season should be. Based on what you did
Okay,
last year and based on what we know right now about your new guys coming in or whatever, what's your expectation? Like what's your floor? Like what should you do given all the
right.
tools you have? That's what I would say the power rating does.
Okay, I love that. I love it. So let's. I mean, I want to see this thing. I want to dive in. So
Okay,
let's get into this.
you ready? Yeah.
Who? I mean, where? First off, where does BYU fall
Okay.
in the national ranking, and then in the Big 12? Where are we pretty high? I would. I mean, a lot of the polls have us around like 14. What are we looking at here?
Okay. So in my rating, we fall anywhere from 21 to 26.
Okay, and this is accounting
And
for the Jake move.
yes, this is accounting
Okay,
for the Jake move. The Jake
okay,
move bumped us because again, this is based on what we know,
right, right.
right? So if you bring in a new, I think it's kind of crazy actually that we're still top 25 and we don't know who's at quarterback. That tells you how much production we have elsewhere on the field. Because if you look
Totally.
at these other teams, it's kind of crazy. So BYU nationally, right now on my list, how I have it weighted, they're at 25 right now. So
Okay,
when the poll comes out, I would expect them to be somewhere around 20, I think.
yeah.
Um, so yeah. Um, who's at the top? We've got Penn State. No matter how I weight anything, those guys will not get off the top of the list.
Okay, okay.
Like, it's kind of crazy. So, that being said, I mean, they've been favored to beat the big dogs several times, you know? So, I
Yeah.
think Penn State's problem is can they meet expectations or exceed expectations? This says they should win the national championship. So, I don't know. We'll
I
have to
guess the
see.
pressure is really on James Franklin this year,
And yeah, and we know how his track record is when pressure is
right?
on.
So, I've been watching a lot of F1 lately. So what's the gap between the leader and the next one? So the gap between Penn State and the next guy, like how close are whoever your number two, three, like is there a big gap? Is it pretty close?
Okay, so the way this is weighted, on average, there's about half a point numerically. There's about
Okay.
zero point 0.5 between each team. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
like a regular gap.
That's
So to give you
your
an idea,
average.
this one is about zero point 0.9, zero point
Okay.
0.8 away. So it's a larger gap. And the next team is Texas, and I can't get them off. And they're kind of in a similar, obviously at a different level, I think, of confidence, maybe not, than BYU, but yeah, definitely at a different level. They have Arch Manning coming in. Um, but they have a kind of a question mark, an unproven quarterback per se, but they
Right.
have so much talent across the field.
Yeah.
So that's why they're up there. Penn State, Texas, and then Clemson. And Texas and Clemson are 0.25 away from each other.
Oh,
So those
wow.
two are,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I mean, I have heard a lot about Texas, but I kind of write it off because Arch Manning and everybody thinks he's like God's gift to football. I don't know yet. Like, sure, he looked good against freaking UTEP or whatever,
Yeah.
St. Maryland's dumb deaf and blind school. Like, he had that big run against Colorado State. And it's like, prove it, right? Clemson is the other one that I've heard a ton. And I rewatched their game against South Carolina, which they lost. But like Cade Klubnik, that receiving core like really surprised me in that game. Obviously, they didn't perform down the stretch, but I mean, with another year of experience, are we looking at Clemson being a force? Like, are they just going to dog walk the ACC and be one of the top four teams, basically, like guaranteed?
I think that's where the bar is, to be honest, for Clemson. You talk about expectations. Um, yeah, because they ended the season really hot, right? And so in
Mhm.
the locker room, you've got this perfect combination of we've tasted success, but also last year was a letdown year. And
Right.
so there's the motivation of that, but also We know where we're going. And
The
also
confidence. Yeah.
yeah, the confidence, it's huge. Like tasting success, especially when the season didn't end the way you wanted it to. And they've got their defense should be really good. I think it hinges on the defense. If the defense is as good as advertised, then I think yeah, they can do really well. We'll see.
Okay. So we have a Big Ten team. We got an SEC team. We got an ACC team. Where is the top Big 12 school? I know we're talking about the needing a national championship contender. I don't know if there's anyone there yet. So who's the next team and how far down are they?
This this hurts my heart. There's something wrong with my number. I don't know what it is. Because I don't even like the team that's there. It's number
Uh-oh.
12. Um, and
So
it's
a
Arizona's.
considerable gap.
Yep, oh my gosh. But here's the deal though. You have, well, okay, yeah, you have Florida up at 7. Like I do not think with Florida's schedule, there's no way they win.
Yeah.
Well, they would have to be really, really freaking
They'd have
good
to be as good as humanly possible. They're like they'd have to hit
to
their
win
ceiling.
9 games. Yeah. So anyways, Arizona State is at 12, and that's the
Okay.
tallest one. And then you've got like a cluster. You've got TCU, Baylor, and Texas Tech right up there with them between 12 and 18. Um, but Arizona State's up there. Honestly, I think that it's really hard to be that good 2 years in a row,
Hmm.
especially when you had a player like Scatabo. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I like Baylor a little more than I like Arizona State actually, but anyways, that's
Okay.
where the next Big 12 team is.
And so where does BYU fall in that kind of hierarchy? Are they that 15 or are they
In the Big
because
12,
yeah, you said Arizona State, Baylor, TCU, Texas Tech. Is BYU next? Is Kansas State,
let
Iowa
me,
State up there?
yeah, Iowa State is up there really high. Let me filter this down. We've got Arizona State, Baylor, Texas Tech, Iowa State, and then BYU does land at number 5.
Okay.
But that's
Okay.
them going 9-3, which 9-3 I feel like should be the expectation with our schedule. Even with
For
no
BYU.
quarterback, I feel like 9-3. We could go 11-1, 10-2, but I feel like I'm predicting 9-3, and that'll put us about fifth in the conference, I think.
Okay. Okay. I can see that. I can see that. Next episode, we'll get into a full schedule breakdown because that 9-3 number is very juicy. I
Yeah.
think for me right now, that is, I would be ecstatic over the
Oh,
moon with nine and
I
three.
would buy that right now. Put it in front of me, take my money, I would buy that.
Right. Right. But we're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back and we are going to get into our top five. We're going to take just those numbers into account. We're going to apply our own biases and we are going to come up with our top five teams in
Yes,
the Big 12.
that's what I want.
All right, we're back. We have to make do. We got to get around the free Zoom light package minute restrictions. So we're making do here. Anyway, okay, let's get into this. This is a segment named "Standing on Business." I think Jessa, you came up with this one, right? This is a Jessa mind child.
Maybe.
Um,
I lose track of
yeah,
what comes out. You've heard how much we yap, you know? Sometimes ideas just come out and you don't
so many good ideas. We can't take credit for all of them.
know.
But yeah, so speaking of BYU in the Big 12K, we heard the numbers. It was Arizona State. I hit me with it again.
Arizona State, Baylor, Texas Tech, Iowa State, and then BYU. By the
Okay,
numbers, that's what it says. Those teams should be that good.
okay. So let's do our own now. Let's predict. Let's say it's coming down. Rivalry weekend just happened. Who's playing in the conference championship game? I, for one, think we're going to have another tiebreaker scenario. I think there's going to be three teams. I think are going to be in contention. I think one of them is going to be Texas Tech. I think one of them is going to be Arizona State. I think one of them, I'm deciding between Baylor and TCU.
Okay, I like that.
But I want to hear your thoughts. Those are my teams that I kind of have in the mix here. I want to hear your thoughts. Who you think is in the mix conference championship weekend?
Okay, I think we have two of the same three.
Okay, okay.
Because I think Arizona State is going to be good, but I just know that it's really hard to be that good 2 years in a row, especially for
Yeah.
a first, second year head coach. So I think Arizona State is going to drop, and I've got Texas Tech
And
in
Baylor.
and Baylor. But it's funny you say that because Josh Hoover and TCU, I've got them at like they are creeping up there. Like one or two plays go around, they could find their way there. But yeah, Texas Tech and Baylor, I like.
Oh, okay, okay. Here's let's do Texas Tech first.
Yeah,
We don't have to place them at number one, but I want to talk about
right.
them first. This smells really like it looks really good, but I don't think it smells as good as it looks. Okay?
Mm,
So follow me.
yep.
You walk into a bakery, okay? And maybe this is the better example. Okay, I'm in Mission in Peru, lots of bakeries. You walk by, smells so good. You're starving, you're hungry, you're tired. You go into the bakery, you're like, this smells amazing. Okay? I'm totally just flipping my first analogy on its head, but
Yeah, I like it though.
just
Keeps people on their
bear with me.
toes.
You walk into the bakery, it smells amazing. It smells so good. You're like, can I just order the smell and just eat it like Sanji the Baker or whatever, that one storybook? Okay. You order what you think smells good, but no matter what you do, like sometimes we would come out of there with like 2 bags of these big black bags full of like baked goods. And yet no matter how much we ate, nothing tasted as good as the bakery smelled. And I'm afraid we might get that with Texas Tech this year. It smells really good. Okay. It looks fantastic. Everything looks good. It smells good. But when you put a team together of like so many transfers and you're just dumping so much money into it all at once, I don't know if that's really going to come out to the undefeated season or, whatever. Like the guys I listen to on like the Cover Three podcast are like, they're the only ones in the Big 12 spending at a national championship level. I don't think that just automatically puts them at a national championship level, though. Like,
Yeah,
imagine they lose 3 games by week 6. Like that team's checked out. They got
right.
their paychecks. They're done. So I don't know. I have my hesitations about that.
That's a very good point. What is their out of conference schedule?
They got the UAPB Golden Lions. They got
Wow.
the Kent State Golden Flashes, and then they have the Oregon State Beavers all at home.
Seriously? Okay,
Yeah,
they're taking a page out of the SEC's book, kind of like Indiana. They're
exactly.
just so your point, yeah, I think it hinges on college on conference play. But the other thing you said that I think is really interesting is yeah, you can I think this could go two ways. This could go Arizona State, Ohio State, right? Brought in a bunch of transfers. I don't know State spent that much money, right? Like you're saying.
Right.
But they did. I mean, they invested in their roster and it went really
Hmm.
well. Ohio State obviously invested in their roster, it went really well. And then you have Florida State, who really did the same thing,
100%. The
right?
exact same thing.
The exact same thing with a very different result. And I don't know what the difference is. I know Ohio State has a winning culture, right? And so the likelihood that they bring in players and their plug and play is a little bit higher. So I think it does come down to that culture and the buy-in in the building. Like if you drop one or two games, are you gonna have the buy-in to say, okay, we're still in this, we can play for a conference championship, or are you gonna be like, I was promised a national championship? And yeah, I think very good point.
Right. And see, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm looking back at Texas Tech's past schedules, and they went 7-6 in 2023, and they went 8-5 in 2024. And in both years, they won 3 of their last 4 games. So it doesn't feel like a team that's gonna quit after they've lost 3 straight or lost like 4 of 6, right? But I don't know if the leaders on the team are still there to
Right.
instill that culture in all of these flashy playmakers that they're pulling out of the portal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Can
don't
they
know if
play the
I feel
long game?
comfortable. Yeah, exactly. And like we know, like in order to win a national championship, you need to recruit at a championship level out of high
Yeah.
school. You're not going to win in the portal, right? You're going to do it like Ohio State, where you got a lot of guys returning, and then you bring in a quarterback and a running back,
Yep.
and that's how you win a national title.
Yeah.
I don't know if I feel comfortable putting Texas Tech at number one. I don't know about you. I
It's
have too many
boomer
questions.
bust. I
Exactly.
boomer bust. I I what's Baylor's schedule?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, if you pull that up. But I think it depends on the schedule, to be completely honest. Honestly, I
Here.
would put Texas Tech at number one.
Okay. Okay.
Just because, and not because I'm confident, but because I'm not more confident in anybody else. So that's
Here's
where
what
we.
I say. I think Texas Tech will be ranked higher, but I think Baylor will be a better team.
I trust Aranda too.
Me too.
Like head coach, I trust that guy. You talk about culture, like he can rally the troops. So yeah, that's a point for Baylor for sure.
I mean, they were on the hot seat and they started out, what's this? They started out 2-4. And he was on the hot seat before the season started and he was 2-4. They're like, are they gonna fire him?
Yeah,
Then what did they do? They rattled off 6 wins to finish the season. Like, I I think this guy has the trust of his program. Now, they do play Auburn in the season opener, which
I
Auburn
like
is
it.
like Auburn is the team that recruits at a championship level and plays like a MAC team. Like
Yeah,
they're the complete opposite of this, right? But then they go to SMU, who SMU I think is respectable. I think they're going to be decent. That was a much harder schedule than Texas Tech, regardless, right? So I think putting Texas Tech and Baylor number one and two, I think that's what we got to do, right?
yeah, yeah. Regardless of what order those go in. Here's what I'll say about Auburn. You're not on the internet, so I don't know if you know this. Have you heard about Hugh Freeze's golf?
Oh, I have not. Oh,
Oh,
I'm
this is
I'm
great.
itching to hear.
Okay, so Hugh Freeze, right, on the hot seat for sure. They have seven committed recruits. We're talking about Hugh Freeze's golf. This is very important. Okay.
This is of utmost. This is so important that the universe tried to shut down this
Yeah.
conversation.
Yep. ESPN knew that this conversation was happening, and they said we cannot have any tainted media out there about our glorious SEC. Well, their
Propaganda
coaches are
only.
doing that for them. Don't get me started on Lane Kiffin. We're gonna talk about him. Um, Hugh Freeze golfs a lot, and he posts every score on GIN, which is the golf handicap something network, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I don't know what, but Lane Kiffin quote tweeted him and said, "Hey, coach, game is looking good over here." And then this news story broke, and they're like, "Do we think that Hugh Freeze is playing too much golf and not recruiting enough?" So, take that information what you will.
How it, what are his scores? Are we giving thumbs up scores?
Oh, I
Is he
mean,
good at golf or bad?
what was I listening to that said he was a 7.6 handicap? So he's good.
So he's definitely playing too much golf then.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. If you're gonna be a high level recruiter, I bet Nick Saban in his heyday was what? An 18 handicap, bogey golf at the
Right?
best.
If that.
Yeah, like he doesn't have time for that. Come on.
No, 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 no. Come
Who are
on.
we talking about?
Well, shocker, Auburn sucks
Yeah, we were talking about
then,
Auburn
right?
because, yep,
Because
Baylor's gonna
Baylor plays
go
Auburn,
blow them out of the building week one, hopefully.
which I'm very excited for. That's Friday
Me
night
too.
game, week one, August 29th. Absolutely beautiful
Yeah,
matchup.
yep. And it's at home
Um,
for Baylor, right?
right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Baylor might be Baylor might be that team, right? If they beat Auburn and they beat SMU and then lose the championship game to Texas Tech, they could be the Big 12 second team in, right?
Yeah. Yep.
If Texas Tech wins, gets that automatic berth, Baylor could be the team that goes 11-1 or 12-1 and is that first, second team for the Big 12 to get in. I mean, who knows? I'm sure like 8-4 South Carolina will probably still make it over Baylor, but
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right,
For sure.
let's do 3 through 5 here. So these are
Okay.
just like the close finishers. Just pure honesty. Do you think BYU will be like vying in the last 2 weeks of the regular season? Do you think they'll have a championship berth on the line?
Do you want to hear a hot take?
I do.
I think if we beat Utah, we do not make the Big 12 championship. I think if
That's a hot
we,
take.
yeah, yep, but listen to this. If we
Okay.
lose to Utah, We go 11-1, make the Big 12 championship. Utah's our only loss. We pull in Ohio State
This is a
last year.
crazy take. Wait, okay. Besides the correlation with the Call family and Ohio State, and our
Yeah.
teams always have to lose in order to win, what is the reasoning here? That's crazy.
So here's what I know about Kalani and this is Kalani's strength, but also his Achilles heel, is he can get this group of guys, this group of 3 stars, to play like 5 stars purely off of adrenaline and like love for each other, right?
Okay.
I think the culture and the emotional buy-in these kids have make them play amazing. The problem with that is that it's not sustainable.
Mm,
So after, and we've seen this, after big games,
100%.
there's this letdown because the guys are like, I gave my heart and soul to that game last week because Kalani told me that I would be translated if we won this game, you know? And they're like,
Yep.
I'm having a hard time 6 days later building that back up. Now that's just an outsider looking in, and I love it. And I wouldn't necessarily like want it another way, you know? Like,
Yeah.
um, but I think we beat Utah, we lose to Iowa State and Texas Tech.
Okay.
I
Yep.
think that's a tough
100% see that.
stretch. If we lose to Utah, guess where the emotional high is gonna come? Right during Iowa State and Texas Tech. We're gonna have an amazing, you know what I'm saying? Because that stretch
Yeah.
is really what's gonna determine the season to me. So
Yeah.
that's my hot take.
So what do you think happens then? Because I mean, I totally get. I mean, from exactly what you said last year, emotional high beating Kansas State at home. We go to Baylor and we like squeak out a 6 point win that we almost gave away, right? In the
Yep.
second half, we scored like 3 points in the second half, or whatever. We have the huge win against Arizona with Big Noon Saturday there. And then we have a last second touchdown to beat Oklahoma State. Huge win at Utah, and then we lose to Kansas. So
Right.
like I totally get what you're saying. It makes total sense. But this year, what do you think happens? Do you think we make it?
I think we beat Utah and then we lose to both Iowa State and Texas Tech. I was thinking about this
And
this
Texas
morning.
Tech.
I think that's what happens, and I think we're in another tiebreaker scenario. If
Gotcha.
we win, like if we win out, I could see us dropping to like TCU too. Like who knows?
Right.
But I think, and yeah, I that's my prediction for this year. If Jake was
Yeah.
here and if we had a returning starter, right, a senior, and I would hope that he'd make a big jump, I might think differently. But that's where I'm at. Okay, what do you think? Where do the Cougs end up? What does your
I
heart
think if my heart, it's really tough because if there was a year to have your quarterback leave before training camp and then like have to break in a new quarterback, like this is the year to do
Yeah,
it. You got Portland State, Stanford, East Carolina, Colorado, and West Virginia, and Arizona. Like your first 6 games, you're going to be favored in every single game. At
yeah.
least you should be, right? Given the talent that's around whoever's playing quarterback. So I'd like to say that we have it figured out by the time we get to the Utah game. But I don't know. I think we're just going to put too much pressure on our def. I think the all the pressure is going to be on the defense, kind of like it was last year. But I worry about our defensive line. I worry about Utah's offensive line against our defensive line. Their quarterback sucks at throwing, and so Kyle Whittingham is just going to run quarterback power like
Yeah.
11 times, going a 16 play, like 14-minute drive, and then we're down at halftime like 10-0, and
Yeah.
then we can't get out of the hole.
Because you know
So
what we're running on offense? We're running running back toss plays that end up in interceptions and
yep,
triple option like behind the back pass plays because we like to get
yep.
fancy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, short side tight end sweeps on 3rd and 2.
Yep. Yep.
I my heart tells me that we're we might be in contention. I feel like it's going to be kind of like last year, where it's like we need like 2 or 3 things to happen in order to have a chance. And first game of the day doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So what if we put BYU fourth? So we got Texas Tech one, Baylor two. You cool with BYU fourth? Do you want to move them up to third?
I'm cool with BYU fourth. Honestly, I think we underpromise here and overdeliver.
Yes,
Like,
I'm
I think that's
100%
where
with
we
you.
go. I would feel more comfortable putting us at fourth than I would third.
100%, 100%. So last two, we're definitely taking our sweet time with this. We're doing this serious. This is not a made for TV. Just get your hot takes out,
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely no.
We do our
Listen,
research here.
no, yeah, just listen to it on 1.5 speed. You're fine.
Yeah,
Okay?
come on, come on.
Yeah.
Bear with us. This is the price that you have to pay for real content,
Yeah.
okay, people? All right. So number three, I low key, I'm really high on TCU this year.
Same
I don't
here.
know why. It's just kind of the vibes. It's the Josh Hooverness.
Yep.
I don't know. I see a push from them. I'm pulling up their schedule though, because could be could be a little crazy.
Okay, well, I've got them
They
at
do
22 on the power rankings,
okay.
and they've got their defensive numbers are looking above average. So, because that's the biggest question mark for me, is their defense.
Their defense.
Yeah.
How many great offenses do they play? Arizona State, Baylor,
Is that it?
right? Like, are those the best offenses? I mean, SMU, I don't really know if I would call them a great offense. They have a strong identity, but like, I don't know if they're gonna blow you out of the water. And then who knows what North Carolina is gonna be
Yeah.
like,
That. Who knows is right.
right? I think TCU they have a tough non-con with going to UNC, playing SMU at home, the Iron Skillet game. I think that gets them to the point where they're in games at Kansas State, at Arizona State. They have a tough schedule, but I don't know. I'm feeling good about TCU.
Me too. I think that when you have a good quarterback, and we know Josh Hoover is like he honestly he wasn't the problem last year, right?
Right.
Um, yeah, I really like him too.
I mean, TCU was balling down the stretch on offense, right? Like it was like you said, it was their defense that kept letting them down. Um, yeah, their losses, they didn't lose a single game in which they held their opponent to under 30 points. Their
Yeah,
losses were 35-34, 66 to 42, 30 to 19, and 37-34. That's
yeah,
it. Like they were a lot closer than people think.
yeah. I think so too. Just one of those years where things don't bounce your way, I think. But if
Mhm.
TCU gets a few things to bounce their way this upcoming year, I like their chances.
Yeah. And they're the team that I feel like nobody's really talking about. Like people are talking about Texas Tech, BYU, Arizona State, Iowa State, Kansas State, then Baylor, then BYU. Like TCU is like the third tier of teams that people are talking about. Like, College Game Day won't even sniff TCU unless it's the Bill Belichick game, right?
Right.
Like, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, number five, to wrap up, we got Texas Tech one, Baylor two, TCU three, BYU four. Who we putting at number five? We got a lot of strong candidates. I mean, Arizona State's still on the table. We have Iowa State and Kansas State. I mean, I think those are our top three,
Yeah, I
but
would agree. Oh gosh, if I had to choose one, um, I'm gonna go by process of elimination.
okay,
Um, I think Iowa State, that was their first double-digit win last year in program history, correct? Or since like the 1930s,
yeah, 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 yeah. That was a
right?
big story, big
And again,
story.
we've talked about it is so hard to be good 2 years in a row. They've got like so much returning production, but for whatever reason, my gut is telling me like I think they're going to be good, but I think they'll dip below the three loss, 2 to 3
Okay,
losses. Um, so for that reason, I would slate Arizona State right there. Um,
okay.
at number five. That's who I would take. Um,
I I think I kind of am leaning with you because I mean Arizona State lost Cam Scadaboo, and the loss of Cam Scadaboo cannot be like overstated because I mean he literally like he belt buckled them, like strapped them to his belt buckle and dragged him across the line. Almost had him winning that game at Texas. I still get fired up when I think about the targeting call.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but then like let's look at Arizona State's schedule. Their hardest games are at Baylor, at Utah, and then Texas Tech.
yeah.
Like, oh, and they go to Iowa State. But
I think
I don't
Iowa
know,
State's
man.
going to take a dip. I think Iowa State
I,
also was a little bit like BYU, where they had games bounce their way.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And let's be honest, like we know what Iowa State is. We know that they're going to be consistent. They're probably going to win 8 to 9 games, but they're not going to like look what Arizona State did to them in the Big Ten championship game,
yeah,
right? What was it,
yeah,
54-10? Like you just they don't have the horses to keep up, and I don't think they did anything to show that they are improving that, right?
yeah.
So that leaves us with Arizona State versus Kansas State.
And we haven't talked
What
about Kansas
reason,
State.
right? I kind of have the same thoughts with Kansas State as I do about Iowa State. What show me something that makes me believe that you are going to be better than you were last year. Like, show me something. Avery Johnson is a little bit older now. Like, is that really it? Is that really what we're banking on to take you over the hump from like 8-4 to 10-2? I don't know. Like, I trust Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson a heck of a lot more than I trust Kansas State at this point.
Yeah,
So I would totally agree to put them in number five.
yeah. And Kansas State also, I'm looking at the numbers right now. They lost production. Like they're below average in returning production.
Really?
And yeah, so we'll have to see. I think in order for them to be better, I'm with you. I think their scheme needs to look a little better and they need to bring in new guys who can show us something different, right? Because it was their
Yeah.
defense last year as well. That was the tough piece.
And and
Uh,
also like I mean, when you say that about the scheme, like they had Avery Johnson, but the whole year we're kind of talking about like, hey, when are they gonna start using him? Like, why aren't they like using him in this way or that way? And it never felt like they really put their hands on like what they were gonna do. So again, like prove to me why that's gonna be fixed this year. You know, if it's gonna be the scheme that's taking us over the top, all the evidence shows that you don't know how to scheme with Avery Johnson at quarterback.
yeah,
So like, I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, so yeah, so are we feeling pretty good about Arizona State at 5?
I think we are. How do you feel about our top five? We got Texas Tech, Baylor, TCU, BYU, Arizona State.
I like it. There's so much unknown. Like I
There
still don't
is.
feel 100% confident in that, but I feel like with that top 5, we're accounting for some surprises. We're kind of
Yes.
predicting some surprises.
Yep.
So,
I like it. I would be absolutely giddy if BYU finished fourth in the conference.
oh, me
Right.
too.
Right. I think we could both agree that would be crazy.
Yeah,
That would be amazing.
I think it'd be awesome.
Um, Next week on our next episode, we will get into that. We will get into BYU season preview. We will get into a deep dive of the non-conference opponents, the first ones that we're going to see. Maybe only like a 90-second segment because it's Portland State, Stanford, and East Carolina, but we'll give you what you need to know. And then next week, we're also going to do the biggest hate watch teams and games of 2025. I mean, I was going to say, I don't know about you, but I do know about you, Jessica. We love a good hate watch.
We do.
Nothing gets me ready for college football Saturday than looking at the list of games and it's like, all right, this is when my team plays, this is when my other team plays, and here are all the teams I'm just gonna hate watch and just I'm gonna hate you until you're up by like 10 in the fourth quarter, and I'm gonna just turning the game off, moving
Yep.
to a new game. Like, as soon as something positive happens for Utah, game over.
It's so real. It's so real. Speaking of Utah, this is the last thing I'll say about the numbers. You've heard from a diehard BYU fan, and also Ohio State is at 6 here. So reigning
Okay,
national champs,
okay,
that could be controversial, right? But so my point is we're removing bias, right?
right.
Guess where Utah lands in the Big 12?
Removing the bias
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
and
I did not wait this to ensure an outcome or anything. Where do you think they landed?
there is I'm thinking 30 to 40, maybe 35 to 40.
Okay, let me just
Or
search.
I guess, did you want in the Big 12? Like,
I had
I'm
the Big
thinking
12.
like, I'm
I'm gonna
thinking
tell you right
like,
now. I have them they are 83rd in the country and they are going 2 and 10 according to the numbers and they're finishing dead last.
dead last?
I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I didn't do anything. Like, this is just based on all the available data. Maybe they're going to be bad. So unless Mr. Dampier is the second coming of Lamar Jackson, which,
Which he is apparently.
yeah, yeah. So that's what I'll say. That's the last thing I'll say about the algorithm. Don't hate it. It is what it is. But maybe it's truthful. Maybe
The numbers don't lie. We
they
can't
don't.
argue with facts.
Yeah, nope. This is just purely based on numbers.
It's fact. Uh, well, on that bombshell, I think it is time to end our first episode. Jessa, how do you think this went? Was this fun?
This is
I don't
so
really
fun.
know. I
See,
think
that's what I'm
so.
saying. The fix. Now we got the high, right? And by the time next week rolls around, we'll be ready for another fix. So
Yep.
yeah, I think this is great.
Perfect first episode. Who knows what platform this will be on? I'll just send a text to Sports Analysts that's like,
Like a
here's the
quick,
link, go
yeah,
listen.
yeah, quick time video MP3 of the three
Right?
segments. Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, this was awesome. Jessa, I will see you again next week. Uh, Obviously, everybody on Sports Analysts listen to this. We love you guys. If you have ideas, if you want to be on the show, just
yeah.
text us. You have our numbers, obviously.
Send in your sports takes to Sports Analysts. That's another thing we're going to talk about next week is what popped up on Sports Analysts for the week. Like,
100% post of the week.
so stay engaged, people.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, this is us signing off. Jessa, this was awesome. Let's do
Till
it
next
again next
time.
week.
Thanks, Jared. See ya.
Adios.